So, like many Americans, up until recently, I did not care about politics. Quite honestly, I didn't even vote until 2020. Um, I've ended friendships over views um, that are just not okay. Why do I have a college degree and I make decent money and I'm living with family? I can't afford groceries. I can't afford my car payment. I can't afford anything. My parents have to help me, quite honestly, and I'm going to be 30 years old. I really want to know, this is my question for the people that think that this country is okay. What are you watching? What algorithm are you on to think that this country is okay? What job do you have? What do your bills look like? What is your income? Like, I really want to know, cuz I am just lost. I am so confused.
All right, so party ID nationally. You go to October, November of 2016, Democrats had a 3-point advantage. You go 4 years ago, Democrats had a 6-point advantage. Look at where we are today, Manu. Republicans with a 1-point advantage. A very different picture, very much mirroring what we see in the party registration numbers in those key battleground states, and Pennsylvania in particular.
It actually just shows you, too, why Harris is doing what she's trying to do. She's trying to moderate a little bit on these issues, trying to reach those very voters because the party registration is changing and the demographics of the voters are changing. And those are the people she needs to attract.
Absolutely. And you know, the GOP leads by a point in party identification right now. The average when the Republican Party loses is the Democrats ahead by 8. When the Republican Party wins, the average party ID advantage for Democrats is 3. Republicans right now, Manu, are doing even better than the average when they win. If there's one little nugget that I think Republicans are really hopeful for, it's this party ID and this party registration data. It really points in a good direction for them and for Donald Trump.
Wow.
What's going on, everyone? Talks Kenny here. We're back. I appreciate everyone's concerns and thoughts and prayers during my time with Hurricane Milton. I only lost power for a couple days. I got it back around Saturday. I think I got back my power, and we evacuated. Last minute decision. We evacuated to Miami with some family members. They insisted that we go over there, and it was fine. But I appreciate you guys for thoughts and prayers. And with that out of the way, let's talk about Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party is losing ground on a lot of key states. As you saw from the intro, you got a woman, she's speaking her mind. She woke up. It's always baffling to me to hear how great the economy is, but then you have this 30-year-old woman in the intro saying that she can't afford her bills to the point where she's still living with her parents, and she says she has a decent paying job. Now, she didn't give numbers, so I don't know what she means by decent. Decent is very subjective, right? If your bills are $5,000 a month, making $70K a year is not going to be a decent salary for you if your bills are that high. I'm pretty sure she has college debt. And there's stats out there that shows that economically, if you want to own a house, you have to make well over 6 figures. I think the number was $125,000 a year today to be able to own a house. And I remember on this channel, I have made many videos about the dating scene, about how being single, being able to live on your own will be a luxury in this country. And I remember I got so much negative comments about that. Oh, women can make it on their own. Every woman I've seen that's single, they're living with their family. Like I'm being dead serious when I say this. I'm just being honest. Now, there's a lot of just single men living with their parents. I understand that. But I always think of this image of the strong, independent woman talking about, oh, we're doing so much better than men. Oh, women own more houses than men. Single women are or there's more home ownership among single women than single men. And I'm just looking at the decisions that women are making. I'm like, yo, y'all guys are putting yourselves in a financial hole. But I digress. We want to talk about the polls, as you saw from the intro, that is not looking too hot for the Democratic Party. And a lot of their messaging is just falling flat. As you're going to see from this example that I'm showing you with Scott Jennings, my favorite political commentator, and also how Byron Donalds is reacting to Obama, sitting here chastising black men, young black men such as myself, who don't want to support Kamala Harris, who might be black, but for sure is a biracial woman, and see how this is going to backfire on the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is already doing bad, but this messaging from them is making things worse for them. But I digress. Let's take a look.
It was a rough week. I mean, her faves are down. They're struggling with, the front page of the New York Times this morning, Democrats struggling with African-American voters, particularly African-American men. This gender gap issue is real. It's a real problem, and you see the Democrats reacting to it. And I think what they are now finally in October, the election, coming to realize is that a lot of men think Democrats care more about dudes who want to become women than dudes who just want to be dudes.
Well,
and no hunting, cosplay, or cringy videos is going to change it. The bet is made. Working class men, whether you're black, Hispanic, or white, persistently, consistently do not believe the Democratic Party, and specifically Kamala Harris, are going to do a thing for them. They've been told that they're the problem, and I suspect they're going to rise up on Election Day and tell the elites who told them that you're wrong.
Well, he didn't do nothing except those big tax cuts.
How do you respond to that?
Very easily. I was working in finance during Barack Obama's administration. Let me tell you, the economy under his especially the last 5 years, was growing at about 1 to 1.5% per year. I think at the time, President Obama was saying that, this era of large economic growth is something of the past. We're going to have a more consistent economy. Well, in his words, a consistent economy meant one that barely grew. So when Donald Trump came in, he brought his tax cut policy in, which cut taxes across the board for everybody in our country. Couple the fact that he did cut massive regulations from the Obama administration. And what did we see? Economic growth in the United States went from 1.5% under Barack Obama to 3.5% under Donald Trump. Wages adjusted for inflation, like I said, because it's the truth, increased for every subgroup of Americans in our country. The wealth gap was closing. We were actually booming economically far more than we did under Barack Obama. So that's a cool statement he made on the stump, but it's not true.
So you seen that, you heard that. No surprise from Obama. Obama's still running on his former glory days. And this is one of the reasons why my dad didn't vote for him in 2012, right? Because I couldn't vote in 2012. I was still in high school. But my dad told me, hey, yo, Democrats are all talk, right? That's what my dad told me. After he voted for Democrat one time, 2008, for Barack Hussein Obama, my dad stopped voting for Democrats. Now, well, my dad never really was. He voted for Bush twice. Once he became a citizen, he voted for Bush twice. The first president that my father voted for was Bush. Then he voted for Obama, and then since then he said he don't vote for Democrats anymore because of ish like what Obama did right here. Man worth what? I don't know how many millions of dollars. Telling you, oh yeah, she grew up with us. She grew up just like us. How is a Canada lady grow up just like an American? Make it make sense. Right? I mean, I'm being honest. If someone's from Africa and you're from America, you're gonna have some distinct cultural differences. Kenyan man, sorry guys, this is a joke. Kenyan raised by white mother in Hawaii urges Chicago black men to vote for Indian woman raised in Canada. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And they have the goal to lecture men on how they should vote. Yo, Democrats, y'all, and the funny part is, I predicted this almost a month ago, right? Y'all don't believe me? I always have the receipts. So this was my video, right? Look, 1 month ago, September 3rd, 2024, I made this video, Kamala's pending campaign collapse, because I saw it. I saw it coming. I'm like, yo, she still have the same bad habits, right? The negative comments are gone. But there was a negative comment that I got here, and they're saying, oh, it doesn't matter. She's still going to galvanize the female vote. Even the females are waking up because, end of the day, as you saw from the intro with the millennial lady, feelings are temporary, right? That's why not my father, but people always used to tell me nothing never gets done with your feelings because your feelings are temporary. What's going to bring you over the long haul is your discipline, your consistency, where you show up on time, right? Whether you feel like it or not, you have to do the thing. Because consistency is what matters most. And what I've seen consistently from Kamala Harris is the inability to separate herself from Biden's terrible economy. Walt is telling you as a voter, hey, you shouldn't be concerned about differences between Biden and Harris. Of course, vote. That's the dumbest messaging. And Walz has shown time and time again why he's such a horrible pick for Kamala Harris, because neither of them can articulate why they're different from Biden. And then they want to pretend, oh yeah, we are different from Biden. I'm a biracial woman. And everyone's like, it don't matter if you change the packaging. The policies are still bad. We don't like these policies. And the dumbest thing I seen, I think I saw a video somewhere about CNN panel. And they're saying that, oh, the reason why young men are not supporting Kamala Harris is because of misogyny. No, it has to be the only reason, right? Right? And then I'm like, yo, I have done videos where I got criticized for these videos where I said there's a political divide between the men and women. Men care about the economy, inflation, and immigration, and women, their number one issue is abortion. Threat to democracy, right? And then I pointed it out. I'm like, yo, the Democrats are not speaking to the concerns of men, and you sitting here trying to chastise it and make it about misogyny. No, it's no way. Like these people on CNN, they act like Democrat policies are perfect, like they're unassailable. Like you can't make any type of criticism on the policy. So it has to be because of the representation of those policies. Kamala Harris, hell no. Kamala Harris's policies did not speak to the concerns of men, and she doesn't have no solutions that are proven to work. She's talking about price controls when we know price controls causes shortages. It will make things worse. This is why she doesn't talk about the economy. Pretty much men's biggest issue is the economy, and only Donald Trump is willing to talk about the economy, while Kamala Harris isn't. Black men are saying, hey, we want people to put us first. We want Americans to be put first because men understand prioritization. I'm going to prioritize the safety of my wife over the safety of another woman. Like, make it make sense. Men understand this. And then when Donald Trump's bring that same logic, hey, we got to put the concerns of Americans first over the concerns of illegals, Kamala Harris doesn't do that. But for some reason, they don't, oh, it's misogyny, men don't want to vote for Kamala Harris. And this is another reason why we don't want to vote for Kamala Harris. It's because this idea that you can't criticize women in power, it's an annoying thing that men cannot stand. And I think that's one of the number one reasons why some men would never vote for a woman. Because it always seemed like we have to coddle women, no matter how much power they have, no matter how much influence they have. That for some reason you can't criticize a woman for nothing. Make it make sense, but you want power, because when you have power, you need accountability, and what comes with power comes criticism. And for some reason, whenever a woman politician gets in up there on stage and try to run for president, they always try to use their gender as some type of shield from criticism. A lot of these feminist types use sexism as an alibi, use their sex as an alibi to protect themselves from their own lack of decision-making, their own lack of talent. And this is what we've seen with Kamala Harris. And this is why many men do not want to support Kamala Harris. But I digress. Let's check out the results of this poll because, Wall said, hey, don't care about the policy differences of between Biden and Harris. Here's a poll showing why voters do care about the differences between Harris and Biden. Let's take a look.
No, absolutely not. And maybe a reason for that, too, is remember, she's the VP in an unpopular administration. Look, we asked Joe Biden's policies as president, do you think they're helping or hurting your family? Look at that. Almost 2-to-1 say hurting more than helping. His job approval rating is in the low 40s. And then here's the twist. When you ask folks, when Trump was president, were his policies helping or hurting? Look at that difference. 44% say helping, 31% say they hurt. So retrospectively, wow. Trump is getting some numbers here.
I understand you all are going to roll out a new NBC News poll this morning. What jumped out at you as you sifted through it?
Well, Willie, the big headline, this is a national head-to-head poll, is that Vice President Kamala Harris had a 5-point lead in our last poll taken a month ago, right after the debate. That lead has all but evaporated, Willie. Take a look at this new head-to-head matchup, 48% to 48%. That is what we call a deadlocked race. It underscores what we all know, that this is tight, that the country is sharply divided. One of the other big headlines here, people are viewing the Trump presidency more favorably than the Biden presidency. Why is that significant? We've seen the vice president get pressed repeatedly on what she would do differently than President Biden, and she's really struggled with that answer. We have new reporting that will roll out on the show this morning, Willie, taking us inside the Harris campaign, where there are discussions about changing her answer on that. Can she draw a distinction on the Middle East, for example, on immigration, all under discussion with this razor-tight race. Willie?
As a young black man, right, you hear all that, right? You hear the fact that she doesn't speak to the concerns that I have, right? The economy, immigration. I believe, hey, look, I believe in mass deportation. I think we don't have enough money to sustain all these people. Like, look at the budget shortfalls in a lot of these states that took in a lot of these illegal migrants. But I keep hearing how immigration is our strength. No, controlled immigration is our strength. And even then, people, Americans, you see the polling. Poll on the issues. Look at the issues. 54% of Americans believe in mass deportation. Who's more likely to give you that outcome? It's self-explanatory. It's Trump. But y'all want to keep making it a race thing. Y'all want to keep making this identity. Bro, I honestly agree with many people who think that 2024 is going to be a referendum on identity politics because I'm tired of this crap. You want me to vote for someone based on their identity? Based on their presumed identity? Oh, look, I'm a woman of color. You should vote for me because you understand my struggle. I understand your struggle. You don't understand my struggle. I don't care if you have the same skin color as me. I don't care if you have the same pigmentation as me. You do not understand my struggle because my struggle is unique to my lived experience. Just because you share skin color with me doesn't mean we have the same lived experience. Like, make it make sense. But this is how many people use their identity as an alibi, and I'm tired of it. Right? Here's a Zuby thing that I agree with. This is a quote from Zuby. Both men and women are more honest towards men than they are towards women. One of the reasons this is a knock against you women, right? This is why many people don't want to vote for a woman. Because when you try to be honest about a candidate, like I am about Kamala Harris, about how I think her campaign is ready to explode, right? When I do a video, you get a bunch of people saying, oh, Kenny, you just hate women. Oh, Kenny, you just don't want to support a woman. Oh, Kenny, you're trying to divide the sexes. Why you keep trying to divide the black vote? Because the black vote actually is divided. What are you talking about? Black women want us to follow behind them. Follow behind you for what? You raise the black community. Black women raise the black community. Look, 70% of kids are born to single mothers. And look at the outcomes. What makes you think that I want to trust the decision-making of another individual that seems to be getting it wrong or seems to be the steward, the matriarch of a failing community? A community where most of the men there, not most of the men, sorry, where large percentages of crime are committed by black men raised by single moms. You seen the stats of rapists? How many of them are raised by single moms? Majority of them are raised by single moms. So if misogyny is the problem for why rape and all this stuff happens, why violence happens in our society, how come the community with less men involved in the raising of their children is causing the most problems for the country? Make it make sense. But misogyny. This is why I say you can't marry a feminist, you can't date a feminist. You can't even like reason with a woman that thinks this way. Because of her feelings, she finds reasons to justify an ideology that seems time and time and time again produce negative, bad results. But when conservatives talk about how fatherlessness is a problem and introducing or incentivizing fathers to remain in the children's lives will actually bring better outcomes, they laugh at that as, oh no, that's not a practical thing. We need systematic change. But they're not understanding adding fathers in the home is a systematic change because the environment you're continuing perpetuating in the black community is giving the black community a bad outcome. Single mothers, single parents are more likely to be in poverty than married couples. Conservatives say, hey, let's make more married couples. Let's incentivize more married couples. No, that's not going to fix anything. But you think reparations will. Which, if you saw from the student loan forgiveness stuff, it contributed to inflation. But you want to keep saying black men need to vote for Kamala Harris. No, we don't need to do a goddamn thing. And you can tell your half black, half white president, Barack Obama. And to me, Barack Obama's not even black. Like, that's how consistent I am. He's a mixed guy. A mixed guy ain't going to sit here tell my black butt who I'm supposed to be voting for. A half black man with one American parent lecturing black Americans men to vote for a half black women with two non-American parents whose main promise as president is to abort more black babies. It's insane, right? They trying to spin like Democrats. Y'all try to spin this narrative like black men are voting against their best interest when in reality it's women. Black women are voting against their best interest. You voting for abortion, which all the abortion centers, a majority of them are in majority black or prominently African-American communities, right? In New York, there's more black babies aborted than born. And you don't see a problem with that, black woman? Like, let's be honest here. Who's really voting against their best interest? Everyone can agree that this economy has been hurting our country. It's been hurting families across the world. Many black women are complaining, especially in Chicago, about how the Democrat that they elect, Brandon Johnson, is putting the priorities and needs of the illegals over them. And they're here crying and complaining about it. And then when black men point to them and say, who you voted for? Everyone laughs because they're like, yo, you voted for the same problem you complaining about. You put these people in power and now you complain about how they doing things. And then when you ask them, hey, who you voting for? 95%? Maybe. It's changing now. 90% of them will say, yeah, I'm still going to vote for Kamala Harris. Make it make sense. And you wonder why people are not enthusiastic to vote for Kamala Harris. But this is the trap. They made their bed. Like Scott Jennings said, they made their bed. They made their bed. You got CNN claiming this is a month ago, this is 14 days ago, 2 weeks ago. The American people don't believe this. We don't believe that we are better off than we were 4 years ago. No honest person can say that. Influential black lawmaker concerned about black men spurning Kamala. Black men, like everybody else, wants to know exactly what they can expect from a Harris administration, and she still hasn't been able to articulate that. How are you different from Joe Biden? Can't name it. Oh, I can't think of anything at the moment. Okay, so black men see that and say, okay, if I vote for Kamala Harris, it's Joe Biden's Build Back Better plan, except it's a woman. That's essentially what the Democratic pitch. But misogyny, men don't want to vote for Kamala Harris because of misogyny. Sounds like cope. You don't think there's any substantive reason why men in mass is not voting for Kamala Harris? Have you seen the polls? I did it. Y'all can't criticize me. I did this on my channel. I show you the issues that men care about the most, and I show you the issues that women cared about the most. Women cared about abortion the most. Women care about saving democracy the most. Social issues, things that are so abstract that you can't fix these things. While men care about things that are solvable, that are fixable. The economy, immigration, inflation. Those are the concerns of men. And who speaks to that more? Trump. But men are not voting for men are not voting for Kamala Harris because of misogyny. Cope. Deflection. Avoiding accountability. Hey, you women politicians, look, this is a criticism for women politicians. Y'all need to stop relying on your gender to cover for all your shortcomings. It's actually time for y'all to actually do some actual work. How about you actually earn people's vote instead of sitting here and being entitled to people's vote because you have a vagina? I'm done. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.